Jiu-Jitsu Overdose is coming to Cancun in December. Hello, everybody. The BJJ scene has been on fire as of late, and this is my absolute best attempt at trying to create the ultimate jiu-jitsu experience. Check this out. All the inch-by-inch jiu-jitsu shows back to back to back. 4 straight nights of awesome jiu-jitsu events streaming live and exclusively on UFC Fight Pass. Thursday night through Sunday night. December 11th through December 16th in Cancun, Mexico. Combat Jiu-Jitsu Mexico Thursday night. Then Medusa Friday night. Then EBI Saturday night. Then Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds the final night. All exclusively on UFC Fight Pass. Or if you've been saving money for a crazy vacation and would love to witness this madness live, for $2K, you get 5 nights at an all-inclusive 5-star resort in Cancun, Planet Hollywood. And that means free food and free drinks in case you didn't know. Then a high-level jiu-jitsu seminar every afternoon, including Jean-Jacques Machado and Gio Martinez. And then a high-level jiu-jitsu show every goddamn evening. EBI, CJJ Worlds, Medusa, and CJJ Mexico. 4 awesome jiu-jitsu shows for 4 straight nights, plus Sam Tripoli and Chingo Bling doing late-night stand-up comedy. Then you could party your ass off any way you want after that because you don't have to be at the seminar the next day till noon. Imagine. We have 150 rooms reserved at Planet Hollywood. I believe the rooms will sell out quick. Tickets go on sale August 1st. You also will be able to reserve your spot with a down payment, or you could just relax at home and watch all this jiu-jitsu goodness live exclusively on UFC Fight Pass. This is the best I can do. So far, anyways, I hope y'all's like it. Thank you tremendously for the support. See you in Cancun.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Cool.
All right, man. Let's get ready. Let's do this thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the man, the myth, the legend. Not back. I'm back because I was just having a conversation with an incredible human being, Lisa McClellan, who I was just talking off air with my man Eddie about crazy shit going on. But this is the man, the myth, the legend. Eddie Bravo's coming through, hanging out with us today. I'm so thankful we had to kind of move some stuff around. The guy's obviously very busy, but he's taking some time out of his very busy schedule to come hang out with your boy Edgar. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Every day above ground's a good day, Edgar. And hearing the conversation like I had with Lisa today just makes me appreciate all the small blessings, dude. The stuff, and you'll hear it. Listen to the episode I just did. Lisa McClellan, the sister of boxer Gerald McClellan. Blessings, man. Blessings are going around, and I'm embracing mine. Thank you for you hanging out today, man. I'm going to chop it up with you. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you for having me, man.
Well, you were so gracious to have me on your show, Look Into It, which I was like, well, you want me on your show? I'm kind of pinching myself. And it was cool, man. I met Eddie, God, what was it, a few years ago, pre-COVID. Came through St. Louis with my boy Sam Tripoli. Big ups to Sam. I opened, quote unquote, for you guys. They do comedy. I just kind of stood there with the microphone in my hand, just trying to do my best. But known him for a few years now. And, man, I was out in L.A. not too long ago. Actually got to chill at the freaking 10th Planet HQ down there in downtown L.A., man. It was very gracious. Listen to him jam out with his boy. With the music scene, we're going to talk all about it, man. You know what? Like you're kind of a superhero to a lot of people, Edgar. So, like, before we get started, man, the origin story. I'm not going to make you rehash everything, but kind of where you started, man. Santa Ana, out there in East LA, childhood. You had a crazy childhood. Give us a little background on coming up out there in East LA, bro.
Well, I was born in East LA, and but raised in Orange County, Santa Ana, which is Santa Ana is the East LA of Orange County. All the white people left. In the 60s, all the white people left L.A. They went down south and to Orange County, but they realized, damn, who's going to clean up our shit? So they had to designate a city for all the manual labor workers, and that's where I was at.
In my show prep, you said that, and I thought that was so fucking funny, man. Santa Ana's were basically the city where the help lives to service all the rich people in Orange County.
Totally. All the cities surrounding Santa Ana back like in the 70s, it was all white. It was like Mission Viejo, Irvine, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach. You know, it was all white. And but they had to have one city for the Mexicans, and Santa Ana is East LA of Orange County.
Well, coming up, man, it was, like it's tough in the streets for a lot of us sometimes, man. But, the domestic situation, moms, and pops and the stepdad. Give us a little highlight on what it was like growing up out there, man.
Well, man, everybody on the block that I grew up on, every everybody's dad eventually left. There's divorces everywhere. So basically, I was raised in a neighborhood, a street where everybody was, all the women were just single mothers, and all the kids were running wild in the streets. And yeah, man, I was, from a very young age, I'm on the streets. My mom made $150, had 3 kids. She made $150 a week. It was very hard. We didn't have any money. She would give us $1 each, and just like we had to, with that dollar, every morning she'd have $1 on the kitchen table, and she'd be gone like at 5:30 in the morning working some manual labor job, and so we're on the streets, wild. Once my stepdad left, he was pretty strict, so he kept us from being too wild. But once he was gone, we're like, hell yeah. And he took off when I was 10. And then from that point on, we just raised ourselves, basically. My mom was always at work. She was working Monday through Saturday, didn't get home till 5:36. Me and my brother and my sister, we're just on the streets.
Yeah, man. One of them latchkey kids.
Yeah, exactly, man. Everybody was, though.
Seriously, I was too, man.
We're just on our bike, and throughout the day, we could ride our bike fucking, an hour and a half away. My mom had no idea where we were at.
That's usually how it was.
Yeah, so, and, from an early age, I wanted to either be a football player in the NFL or a rock star. It was just going to be, because I knew I wasn't built for work for like 9 to 5. I knew that shit. And once I hit 9th grade and realized that Mexicans don't play football, that's when I went 100%. Okay, I have no choice. I got to be a rock star. And luckily, my music sucked, because if it would have been good, I would have been blowing up in the 90s. And that's when all that P. Diddy shit was going on. You know what I mean? and I was making like a metal rap. I was doing Linkin Park 10 years before Linkin Park.
Yeah, dude. I like, so you had like a kind of a speed metal vibe, but then like once you had said you had heard Public Enemy with Anthrax, that Bring the Noise, that was like game changing.
Oh yeah, that changed my life right there. Run DMC was kind of doing rock rap too, and I kind of liked it, but that was kind of like AC/DC doing rap when you listen to early Run DMC, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I like that, like Rock Box or whatever that song was.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, but I was never really an AC/DC fan. But once I heard Anthrax and Public Enemy do Bring the Noise, I was like, okay, fuck this speed metal shit. We're going to do that. We're going to do that, but we're going to do it with keyboards and synthetic drums, acoustic drums, no limits, piano, strings, heavy guitar, acoustic guitar. I just wanted to mix everything up. And this was 1991, or I think the song came out in 89, and then that planted the seed. And then I moved to Hollywood, sold my drums, left the speed metal scene. I'm like, I'm done with speed metal, and tried to put together like the ultimate hip hop, alternative heavy metal hip hop.
And that's an Enter Black and Kill Symphony. But before I let you slide into that, I got to drop a couple names on you, just kind of free association, what they mean to you, because I know we kind of passed over the childhood a little bit, but a couple of big names in your childhood, which I found pretty fascinating. Not necessarily the first love of your life, but she was 6th grade. You were 6th grade. She was 7th. Sabrina. Who was Sabrina, bro?
Damn, you went deep. When in elementary school, you didn't have to claim a gang or anything.
Right.
I went to an all-Mexican school. Everybody was just like whatever we saw on TV. We were like Different Strokes, Family Ties, that type of shit. You know what I mean? Everybody was just whatever you saw on TV. And then when you get into junior high, now you got to claim a gang.
Right.
And the junior high I went to was half black, half Mexican. And you got to claim a gang, even if you're not in a gang, you got to claim something. You got to write something on your peachy folder. You know what I mean? And you got to claim it. And I didn't want to do that, and my brother did, because we were all, on the street. We were just regular like Mexicans that liked rock. We were into like the Police, Kiss,
yes,
Van Halen, Ted Nugent. Everybody on the street was into rock, and we were all Mexicans into rock. But when you went to school, you got to pretend you were a fucking cholo now. Now I got to pretend I got to either claim F Troop or Middle Side, because they're like allies.
Oh, shit.
Fuck that. I'm like, fuck that. So when I got into 6th grade, my aunts, I got 2 aunts I got an aunt in the 7th grade and an aunt in the 8th grade. And they were really popular. And they dressed like cholas and all that. They did all that. But they weren't in any gang, but you got to dress like you're in a gang. You know what I mean? You got to pretend you are. And they were beautiful, Alice and Patty, beautiful aunts. They were my same age. They were like my sisters. You know, my grandma and my mom were having kids at the same time. My mom had 2 sons, me and my brother, and my grandma had 2 girls, Alice and Patty. We were like sisters. I love them. I still love. I mean,
you said they're always trying to hook you up.
Oh yeah, always trying to get me pussy, always. And when I got to 6th grade, I refused to dress like a cholo. I was basically dressing like a surfer, because we would like take the bus to Newport Beach and boogie board on our cheap boogie boards and everything. And I was like dressed in like OP, like Ocean Pacific, lightning bolt clothes, like just like surfer clothes.
Yeah.
And the Mexicans and the blacks, they didn't appreciate that. They're like, you know, you Mexican, why are you trying to be white? I'm like, oh shit. And then my aunts were so popular, and everybody loved them. Everybody loved Alice and Patty. So there was a 7th grader, Sabrina. You mentioned Sabrina. 7th graders never date 6th graders, but since I had 2 powerful aunts, I was able to nab a 7th grader, and then we started going out, you know, and that was my first French kiss with the tongue at a school dance, where we went outside on the side of the building. I'll never forget that. We were just swapping spit. I've never done that before. Like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm in 6th grade and we're like making out on the side of the building. And then I fell in love with a 6th grader named Margaret, and she was in my English class, and I wanted to go out with her, and I wasn't really into Sabrina. Broke up with her to go out with the 6th grader. So that was the most embarrassing thing that could happen to a 7th grade girl who made an exception to date a 6th grader. I broke up with her for a 6th grader, so it was really humiliating for her. So basically, there was a lot of guys who just wanted to fuck me up, and she greenlit me, dog. She greenlit me, and I got taken behind the PE building, a bunch of dudes. Half of them were black, Steve Calhoun. Half of them were Mexican. They all got together and they were going to fuck me up. And I just started crying. And I was like, wee! I was just crying like a little baby. Wee! And I cried so hard that they felt sorry for me, and they left me.
Gave you a pass, bro. Gave you a pass.
Yeah, right there, I'm like, you know what? I got to get the fuck out of this school. So the next year, I transferred myself to this white junior high that was clear across town, but my aunt lived in the district, so I used my Aunt Terry. I used her address. My mom had no idea.
Your mom had no clue.
I just told my mom, I go, Mom, I'm going to a new school. It's gonna be the best school. She's like, oh, okay. She was like cooking when I told her. She's like fucking cooking, and my mom always made sure we had food at night. Always cooked, always. And I said, Mom, next year I'm going to an awesome school. She said, okay, great, baby boy. That's awesome. And when I registered myself, signed myself up and everything, and I didn't want to use Bravo because Bravo was my stepdad's last name. Cano is my real last name. That was my biological name, and I hated my stepdad, and I wanted to go. I wanted to start a new life. I'm going to this white school. It was a white school, but the Mexicans that were there, those Mexicans there, they were all whitewashed Mexicans. You know what I mean? There was no gangs. Like we had one cholo. We had one cholo, dude. Everybody, it was like a nice, rich part of. It was like the edge of Santa Ana, North Santa Ana, where it started getting good, next to Orange and next to Tustin. And if you technically lived in Santa Ana, but you were like right on that border in the good area, nobody would claim Santa Ana. Their mail would say Santa Ana, but they'd say, "Oh, I live in Tustin." They didn't want to say Santa Ana. Oh, I live in Orange. Like, bitch, let me look at your mail.
Right.
You fucking live in Santa Ana, dog, technically. So when my mom found out that I changed my name back to Edgar Cano, she flipped. She had never been so involved in my school ever. She grabbed me by the fucking ear, dragged me to the school. Because she didn't want nobody to know about that, because my stepdad, my older brother, and my younger sister, I got 19 brothers and sisters on my dad's side, but on my mom's side, I got an older brother and a younger sister. They got the same dad, Bravo. I'm in the middle, Kano. And that was my mom got married, had my brother, divorced, fucked around with my dad, had me, and then went back to original Bravo and had my sister. So I have my younger sister and my older brother. They're legit Bravo. Right. I'm the mystery kid, the secret, the skeleton in the closet. So my mom didn't want anybody to know. She said, everybody's fucking Bravo, okay? Right. Everybody's fucking Bravo. You're Bravo. And but I was like, fuck that. I hate that dude. So when I transferred to it was Willard Intermediate. When I transferred to that school, I changed. I filled out all the paperwork and I signed everything. My mom freaked out. She freaked out. She grabbed me by the ear and dragged me to the school. She basically front kicked the principal's door like a thief. She front kicked, boom. She fucking said, yo, pull out the paperwork. The same fuck. My mom. I never seen my mom so interested in my school before. She went in there and she changed all the fucking paperwork, man, and I got busted. Then I had to go back to Bravo, and I'm like, fuck. I hated the name Bravo so much, and because people like kids were like, Bravo, hooray, hurrah, oh, well, Bravo, yay, Bravo, yeah. I'm like, shut the fuck. I hated the name so bad. I hated it so much that first day of school, the teachers, it's the only day the teachers call out your name, because then you have a permanent seat, and then afterwards, after that first day, they could just look to see if you're sitting in your seat to take roll. They don't have to call your name. But the first day, they have to call your name. So I'd go up to the teacher right away and go, listen, I'm Edgar Bravo, so I'm right there, okay? So you don't have to
don't say my fucking name.
Don't say my fucking name out loud. Damn. I don't need people making fun. People like I was embarrassed of the name Bravo, not only because I hated my stepdad, but just because it sounded so stupid.
Well, people ran, like you said, the hooray. They ran with the dumb shit. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Just shut the fuck up with the hurrah. They'd call me Edgar Hurrah. Eddie Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. And
kids are cruel. Kids can be cruel. Well, again, sliding out of somewhat childhood, adolescence, another gentleman who was a bane of your existence to some degree, I think, which maybe unconsciously spawned you to become the badass you are now. Who is this Donovan Moaga, bro?
Oh, man, Donovan. So I went from being the most popular sixth grader of all time at Spurgeon Intermediate, the gang school, because of my aunts. I was super popular because of my aunts, and all the dudes hated me. So now I go from super popular to the biggest loner of all time. So now I'm at the school in the seventh grade, and everybody made their cliques in the sixth grade. So I get there. I'm not part of any cliques, and I'm not good at opening lines and making I'm not good at I've never been good at making moves on chicks, like cold call. I'm not a cold caller.
Right.
I'm not good at that. I never been. Hey, what's up? How you doing? My name is. I've never been that dude, and I don't know, maybe too much fucking stupid pride or something. But now I'm in a school and nobody fucking knows me. But I do have one friend, Lee Mays. Lee Mays, I knew him from first grade. We had first grade together. He was a rocker. He had long hair. I looked up to him. He was like a metalhead. I was like a metalhead too, but this guy he out-metaled me. He had Lee Mays is the ultimate metal dude. He's the only friend I had. So when he was at school, I would have someone to talk to during lunch. And that's all that really mattered, because when if you don't have anybody to talk to in class, it doesn't matter. You're working. You got shit to do. You got to do your work.
Right.
But you get exposed at lunch, because now you're by yourself. If you don't have nobody to talk to at lunch and you're sitting there, you have nobody to talk to, you are the biggest loser ever. It's worse than everybody wanting to kick your ass. It's on the same level. I didn't even know what was worse. I'm like, fuck. Maybe I made a mistake, because Lee fucking didn't go to school all the time. And after second period, they would put up a list in the front of the school of everybody who missed class, and I would always check to see if Lee Mays was on that fucking list. I'm like, damn, am I going to have to hide during lunch? Because after a while, I had to hide, because the school was an indoor school and lunch was outside. So during lunch, everybody was locked outside. But if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to get in line, and there was a guy that let you in to go to the bathroom, and that was inside. So I was always in that fucking line. I'm going to the bathroom when Lee wasn't there. When Lee was there, everything's fine.
Right.
All you have to do is have one guy to talk with, everything's fine. But he wasn't there. I'd be just in the bathroom pretending I'm taking a shit. Just trying to kill as much time as possible.
Yeah. Lunch was that time. That was like the social make or break time. And if you're sitting by yourself, fuck, dude.
Yeah. So then I took drama because I was always trying to take the easiest classes. An acting class. Okay, at least there's no fucking homework and shit. I'll take an acting class. So in drama, I met Nicole. Nicole was a Mexican whitewasher. She was Mexican as fuck. Mom and dad were Mexican, but they didn't speak any Spanish. They were whitewashed. They've been here forever. So Nicole was in my drama class, and one day we were like in a circle, all holding hands. It was like a big thing we were doing, and I was holding hands with her. My hands were all sweaty. I'm like, damn, she's beautiful. She was a cheerleader. And then for some reason, she started liking me. And then we started, I started walking her home, and then she became my girlfriend. And then she told me, she goes, I just want to let you know that in 6th grade last year, I was dating Donovan Mauga. I'm like, no fucking way. Donovan Mauga, half Samoan, half white.
Yeah.
The second best football player on the team, super athlete, already buff. He's in 7th grade, already young.
Got a mustache.
Super athlete, half Samoan, half white. Back in those days, you never even fuck with Samoan chicks. Samoan chicks would beat up guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Samoan chick, you don't fuck with Samoans, dog. And that's a tiny little island, and they got so many NFL players. That's a tiny little. It's a speck. It's a speck in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and they got all these fucking football players.
Monsters.
Every team got a Samoans. Those guys are the strongest motherfuckers out there. And Donovan Mauga used to dated this girl I'm in love with. I'm like, damn, okay, at least, okay, it's all right. I don't think he shouldn't be mad. And then what happened was there was another school. There was another girl named Angel Bates. She was the one girl in junior high with double D's. Every junior high got one girl with double D's.
Facts.
And then there's one girl with full C's, and then the rest of the girls nothing. But every junior high got one. Angel Bates, she was fully developed already. And Donovan Mauga was making moves on her. It looked like he was about to start dating her, right? So I thought, okay, he's not going to work. He's not going to give a fuck about me. That was a year ago. But it was in the back of my mind. And then people started coming up to me once they found out that the loser was dating Nicole, the cheerleader. Everybody was freaking out. All of a sudden, people are coming up to me, and it made Donovan look really bad. It made him look like it dropped his value.
Right.
Like if a loser, because he was going out. He went out with Gina Rogers later, who was like a supermodel. He was only going out with the high level bitches, but Nicole dating me dropped his value a little bit, so it pissed him off. So now he wanted to kick my ass. So all these guys were coming up to me. I remember one guy specifically, Eric. Fuck. God damn it. I thought Eric Yales. Damn it. Fuck, I can't. I thought I remembered his name. My whole life I remembered his name. But he comes up to me, some white kid, little Irish white kid, blonde kid. He goes, yo, Donovan's going to kick your ass, man. I'm just letting you know. He's talking about my what? For what? He goes, because you're dating Nicole. I'm like, yo, doesn't he like Angel? Aren't they like dating? And then I started freaking out, and I was like super scared. And, like, people would come up and go, yo, Donovan's gonna fuck you up, dude. And I was like walking her to class, holding her books, holding her hand, and she's in her cheerleader outfit because it's like game day. And I'm the loser going out with a cheerleader. People were freaking the fuck out, and I was scared to death. And this is 7th grade, and my 7th grade English teacher, she made us all write letters to ourselves that she was gonna mail. When we graduated high school, like I put my grandma's address. We'll put her an address that it will be forever. And I put my grandma's address, and in that letter, oh man, it was just like, I'm terrified. Donovan's gonna kill me. I don't know when it's gonna happen. He would just delay it. just like, when is this gonna happen? I would just think, okay, I'm walking her to class. At any moment, he can come and just fucking sucker punch. Any moment he could just sucker punch me. I was living in fucking fear and terror. I was fucking terrorized. I was like, there's no way I could beat this dude up. I couldn't beat anybody up. I wasn't. No, nobody knew me as a fighter. Oh, everybody knew me as a fucking crybaby pussy. And so, oh shit, I forgot the most important part. Let's back up a little bit. So, my only friend, Lee Mays, is making moves on Angel Bay. Oh. And at lunch, Donovan Manga comes up to fucking Lee Mays in front of me and beats the shit out of him, mounts him. He was mounting him. It was like the UFC. He took him down, mounted him, and beat the shit out of fucking Lee Mays.
So he's already on the hunt for you, and he's beating the shit out of you.
No. Actually, this was before I started dating Nicole.
Okay.
This is before. Before I started, I fucked up. This is an important piece. Before I started dating Nicole and going out with her, Lee Mays finds out, or Donovan Malga finds out that Lee Mays is making moves on Angel Bay, double D's. And so he beats his ass up, lights him up, cuts his face up, just lights him up right in front of me. And I'm too much of a pussy to do anything. This guy's a fucking monster. And I'm waiting for him after school, and his Lee May's mom shows up. And then I'm just waiting, like, what the fuck happened? He comes out, he's got shades on, but you could, like when boxers wear shades,
oh yeah,
their eyes are all fucked up. That's what it was. He had shades on and the eyes were all fucked up. He had killer hair, killer metal hair. He had like his hair cropped at the top. That was cool back then. He was just so metalled out with these mirror sunglasses, and you could see all around him. His face are fucked up. Donovan just brutalized him. And I go, so what's going to happen? He goes, my mom's going to transfer me to another school. And I'm like, no.
Oh, shit. That's your only boy.
Like, what are you doing? We could work this out. You don't have to go to another school, you fuck. So then I lost Lee Mays. Then I started dating Nicole. And then Nicole tells me, that's my ex-fucking boyfriend. That's like, what? Ugh. That dude's your ex-boyfriend? The guy that fucking obliterated my only friend? Holy shit. So I'm living in fear. I'm just waiting for him to fuck me up. So once I'm in the bathroom taking a piss, and once I'm done taking a piss, I had a little comb in my back pocket. I'm looking up at the mirror. The mirror was like on the ceiling, but kind of like diagonal. I'm looking up and combing my hair. And then Donovan and his friend Jaime walk in. As I'm walking out, comb my hair, I'm walking. They walk in. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I walked out of the bathroom, and I just thought, you know what? I'll walk right back in and started combing my hair again. I go, let's get this shit over with. I found out a lot about myself right there. And it's weird. You don't know how you'll react in those situations. But in that situation, I was so tired of living in fear, I wanted to get it over with. You know what I mean?
No,
it was almost like when people commit suicide because they just can't handle the pressure and all the fucking stress and all whatever's going on in their life. It's just so traumatic. They just say it's easier if I just kill myself than have to live through this hell every fucking day. And so that's what I did. I go, let me go commit suicide. So I went right back in, started combing my hair. They're taking a piss, and I could see them in the mirror. I could see their backs as they're pissing. And Jaime's looking over, go, fuck them up, fuck them up. They're both taking a piss, and Jaime's going, fuck them up. They both have their dicks in their hands. And Jaime's going, fuck them up, fuck them up. And Donovan's going, shut up. He goes, fuck them up, shut the fuck up. And I'm just combing my hair. And then they zip up their fucking pants and both walk out of the bathroom, and I'm still combing my hair. I'm like, what the fuck? This was his chance to brutalize me.
What do you think it was after all of that hype?
No, I know what it was. Angel Bay found out that Donovan wanted to kill me because I'm dating Nicole. She got jealous. She goes, why would you beat him up? He's so nice. He's just a nice little boy. Why would you beat him up? You still love Nicole? He's like, no. It goes, if you fuck him up, we're done.
Oh, shit.
He said, Angel Bay saved my life.
The power of the P, baby. It's so funny because I heard you tell that story, and it reminded me. Same 7th or 8th grade, a cat named Adam Sansom. Shout out Adam. Recently lost his wife, man. R.I.P. to your wife, but big ups to Adam. But same thing, dude. Everyone's like, man, Adam Sam's gonna kick your ass. And you know what? I didn't even know him, but this girl who I was dating at the time told him. Apparently, I was talking shit about him, and I didn't even know who the fuck this person was. Same scenario. Everyone's talking about how Adam's gonna kick my ass. I walk into the bathroom, and it's fucking me and Adam. Nobody else, dude. And I'm like, oh fuck, it's on. And literally, I don't even know what the fuck I did. I don't remember at the time, but I'm just like, bro, I don't even know you. I didn't talk. I mean, I have no idea who you are, bro. I didn't do whatever. Nothing ever happened. But yeah, it's crazy how we can get jammed up in these kind of crazy situations. But I find it interesting that those guys didn't do anything. And apparently it was because
he didn't want to lose Angel Bay.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Well, you clearly were a handful, and we're going to move away from the childhood, but I have to tell you, I mean, obviously you were a huge handful. You gave, I found very fascinating, because I, again, did the same thing, just one teacher, but you gave 2 teachers nervous breakdown, Miss Franklin in 8th grade history, and Miss Aspen in 10th grade English. You gave nervous breakdowns, dude, had them quit their freaking job.
Yes, I did. I'm not proud of it, but I was a class clown.
Yes.
And only because I was super insecure. I'm like the most insecure person. So any class clown just means they're damaged. And I was really I needed attention. I wanted to be funny. And, that's why I dabble in comedy too. Cause I need the attention because of my childhood was so fucked up. I'm insecure. I would say most comedians are fucked in the head.
Well, I think that's kind. I mean, there is that kind of seeking external validation through the laughs, etc. But that's interesting for you to say that. Like, you are a master of what you do. The huge defeat of Hoyler Gracie. I mean, that hasn't stemmed. I mean, being so good at what you do and creating your own essential extension of jiu-jitsu, that hasn't stemmed certain levels of insecurity.
Jiu-jitsu definitely made me more confident in most life situations.
Right.
When you know how to put people to sleep, 30 different ways,
right,
systematically, you do it every day. It does raise the level of confidence in your life in every aspect. That's why jiu-jitsu saved my life. Really, I mean. I'm not a badass. I've never been I've been in one little fight, but not really. Like I was involved in a riot once. But as far as like using my jiu-jitsu and choking someone out and putting someone out, I've never done that. I've been doing jiu-jitsu 30 years, and I'm not trying to look for a fight. I'm not trying to beat anybody up. But I feel like if anybody fuck with me,
yeah,
I do feel confident enough to put people to sleep. I mean, just hasn't happened. And there's been a lot of times where, it could have happened, but the guys they saw something in my eyes or something. There was a couple times like, yo, you sure you want this shit? And then they just back out. I've had several people back off. Maybe, I don't know, they see or they felt the level of confidence I had, and that comes from jiu-jitsu.
Well, and
when you're practicing putting people to sleep every day, people respect that.
Well, and it's interesting because I've had the fortune to interview, a lot of MMA guys, UFC Hall of Famers, etc., and extremely dope martial artists. And the last thing they're trying to do is out there and whoop anybody's ass. They're all about de-escalation. It's not about getting into fights. I mean, that's part of the whole almost martial arts. It's more of an internal thing than it is external. Yes, I could rip your head off, but ultimately, it's what martial arts has taught me to temper my sword, if you will. So I find that fascinating, dude. I was going to ask you if you've ever been in mini street fights, but that's interesting. You've kind of tried to avoid that, but that's kind of the whole point of what you guys do. Again, before we leave the kid stuff, man, because I was the same way, man. What changed your world back in the day as far as rock was Kiss and the Kiss movie. For my first Halloween, when I was 5 years old, and talk to me about this because this is when Kiss was super commercial. I was born in 73. I think 78, 79 was my first Halloween. I had the Gene Simmons, man, the horrible Gene Simmons plastic outfit with the rubber band and the mask. I was Gene Simmons for my first Halloween, man. And I got pictures of it.
Do you have pictures of that?
I do, dude. Absolutely.
Dude, text me a pic of that. That's hilarious.
I absolutely will. So the Kiss movie, dude, how'd that change your game, dude? The impact.
That changed my life. When I saw that Kiss movie in 1978, I was 8 years old, and I didn't know what selling out was, but that was them jumping the shark. That was selling out.
Yeah.
In the early 70s, like 73, 74, 75, that was the early Kiss, like the hardcore Kiss, and they were more rock oriented. They were wild and a little, more raw and aggressive. And then they got so big that by the time 1978 rolled around, they were like the biggest band in the world. And then they started doing like disco type shit.
Yeah.
And they just really shark. And so that movie killed all their hardcore following. They just jumped ship. They're like, fuck this band. They're like a kids band now. They're doing disco and they're doing a stupid fucking made-for-TV movie, where it was the worst movie ever. But it's so bad that it's amazing.
It's so bad it's good.
Yeah, but at 8, I didn't know. I didn't know about their history. I didn't know what selling out was. I got into Kiss when they sold out, and I had no idea what selling out was. I was into, and they had a disco album. I was into it. Then the next album was even more disco. I was into it. And then the next album was a weird concept album. I was into it. But it got to a point where I had to, everybody jumped ship, and I had to eventually pretend like I didn't like Kiss no more. I was like, okay, I don't like Kiss no more. Everybody, because it was like liking Vanilla Ice or MC Hammer. Like if you're claiming MC Hammer as your favorite rapper, you're going to get ridiculed. You know what I mean? By your friends.
Yeah.
So I had to pretend I didn't like Kiss. I had to pretend, but I still did. I was so loyal, but I had to pretend because my brother would tell all the neighborhood kids, oh, he's still listening to Kiss. I'm like, no, I'm not. I hate Kiss. You love Kiss. I hate Kiss.
Well, and when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I was 5 years old, 78, 79. I was Gene, but if their costumes are appearing in Kmart or whatever in that plastic, they clearly have quote unquote sold out, gone very commercial.
Oh yeah.
If 5-year-old me,
if you could go to Gemco and buy a Kiss Halloween outfit and there's a plastic mask with a rubber band, it's over. They're hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Gone at that point.
The licensing and merchandising deal, it's really pissed off the OG hardcore heads.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's dope, though, man, because like I said, I was a huge Kiss fan, more for the theatrics, man. It just looked so fucking cool. Like Gene Simmons, just the whole regalia looked amazing. I'm a huge professional wrestling fan. That's why I like the Road Warriors, like the face paint, the shoulder pads. It was just like the theatrics of it was so dope. So, obviously,
think about it. It's the ultimate Illuminati band. Think about it. They had Gene, the demon, right?
Yeah.
That's huge. And then they had Paul Stanley, like the androgynous fucking, like...
Star Child.
Transgender guy, right? Like everybody, he was so flamboyant on stage. And then you have Ace Frehley, the space guy. He's all
Space
about
Ace.
Space. Oh, so we got space, we got transgender, and we got demon. And then the only one left is the drummer, who's a cat.
Yeah, Peter Criss, dude. Peter Criss, the cat.
Illuminati.
Yeah, playing the drums.
But you know what? They say Illuminati and all that shit comes from Egypt and Babylonian shit. And Egypt, they used to worship cats. So maybe that's like a little, maybe that's Egyptian, and that's where all this fucking Illuminati shit comes from. Space, of course, they got to make you believe we're on a rock spinning in space, so it kills God. So Kiss is like the ultimate Illuminati band.
Interesting. Didn't actually think of it that way. You're jumping the shark on me, so we got to stay focused here. Here you are, man, in Santa Ana, getting your rock on, changing the game with your band here, Black and Kill Symphony, around 91, 92, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so from what I understand, you guys were thinking, like, if we're going to be rock stars and do some shit at the Roxy, hang out at the Whiskey, and be big rock stars, we got to be in shape. So is that right? If you guys thought you were going to be rock stars, you need to get in shape. So is that where martial arts, or at least karate at that point in time, entered your life?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I didn't want to be a fat rock star, and playing in front of 100,000 people in a soccer stadium. I wanted to be in shape. So first I joined just a regular gym, and just after one day, I'm like, oh, okay, I can't do this shit. Lifting weights was just so boring. So then I was always a big Bruce Lee fan.
Yeah.
I was a giant Bruce Lee fan. And, I was a big boxing fan, so I'm like a boxing encyclopedia in the 80s and 90s. I knew, like Gerald McClellan, we're talking about that. I saw that fight live.
Yeah.
Gerald McClellan, Nigel Benn, all that shit. I saw Roy Jones Jr. when no one knew who the fuck he was. I saw Mike Tyson when he won the championship. When he beat fucking
Trevor Berbick.
Yeah, and then who's that fucking oh, don't tell me. Frank Bruno, remember the
God,
the
yeah.
English black guy?
Yeah.
I felt sorry for that. I was like, this guy's going to get killed, and I really feel bad for him because, he spoke with that English accent, and he was so, he was just so proper and nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, Mike Tyson's going to fucking brutalize
And
this
he
guy.
wound up fighting him twice, and then the second time I think was when he got out of the joint. But yeah, it was a total brutalization. I mean, that was Mike was the absolute man. But I dig that too because I'm a huge. Obviously, most people who are into martial arts. I've taken again. You guys do martial arts almost like stand up. I sometimes have done it anyway. But Bruce Lee was the introduction to so many of us. And, for me, reading that book, man, the Tao Jeet Kune Do, the Wave of the Intercepting Fist, really changed my life just because of kind of the more spiritual kind of application I used for the everyday aspects of my life. But something that you in an interview you did, and I apparently did not hit me until you started talking about it. Enter the Dragon. One of Bruce's main movies. Of course, he had a bunch of other ones, but his main one we all know him from is Enter the Dragon. But it's what's past his prologue. It reminds me, Bruce Lee was sent to that island in that movie by the government, the CIA, to infiltrate this island because this Han dude was doing all this not black op, but trafficking people and drugs, and he had this kumite going on his island. But it was interesting I should have realized it when it was going on. I probably did, but hearing you say it, it's like, wow. The CIA went in to infiltrate this guy's island for doing all this stuff like we're seeing today, really. It's kind of reminiscent. Yeah.
And meanwhile, the reality is the CIA probably funded that island.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Get rid of Han so we can put in, our guy or whatever. But yeah.
Exactly. Han thinks he's not following orders. Let's get rid of this dude.
Yes. And it's very reminiscent.
Bruce Lee, and they get Bruce Lee and they go, listen, we're trying to do the right thing. Let's get rid of this Han because he's doing all this bad stuff, running drugs and human trafficking and all that shit.
Right.
But meanwhile, the reality is they were funding it.
It's how it works, baby. It's how it works. So getting into your journey, not just into martial arts, you started with the karate, but it wasn't quite your thing. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I did diligent research and I could be off. You got turned on to basically UFC and jiu-jitsu, UFC 2 by your homeboy James. How did that change the game? If that's correct. Again, I could be absolutely wrong.
No. I was doing karate.
Yeah.
And then me and my best friend James, we were big boxing fans. We would see every boxing pay-per-view and every Tuesday night fight, Friday night boxing. We saw everything. We taped every box. I would have boxing magazines and just look at all the standings and where everybody was ranked, and I would memorize all the top 10 fighters and their records and everything. I was so into it. I wouldn't throw away any boxing mag. Julio Cesar Chavez, Roberto Duran, all the Mexican motherfuckers. I saw Oscar De La Hoya's first match live at the Forum. Oh, was it at the Forum? It was in L.A. I don't know if it was the Forum, but it was his very first pro fight. I saw that live. I saw Julio Cesar Chavez versus Oscar De La Hoya, closed circuit. It was in, I don't know where it was. Maybe it was Vegas, but they had it at arena. You can go to a basketball arena, pay, and watch it on the big screen. That's how they did it back then.
Wow.
And I saw it was at the LA Sports Arena. It doesn't exist anymore. That's where the Clippers first played when they first came to LA. It doesn't exist no more, but I saw it there. And man, I was like, Mexican was, boxing is the most racist sport ever because everybody, and it's okay, because every white dude is going to go for the white dude. Every Mexican dude is going to go for the Mexican dude. Every black dude is going to go for the black dude, and it's totally okay. You could go for your own race. It's the most racist sport ever.
One of the times, and you've spoken to this before, and one of the most wildest times that happened, because you're absolutely right. I mean, you're always going to kind of choose your tribe, but back in the day when it was Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney, I think it was, Don King stoked that fucking fire, dude. They had security up. I mean, that shit was about to turn into a fucking race war, dude.
Yeah, totally.
Dude.
Totally. That was like, he was the great white hope.
Yes, dude.
Oh, why? Yeah, what? See, there was no Mexicans. No Mexicans, legit Mexicans at heavyweight. There was one guy named Alex Garcia, but he wasn't that good. But we had one dude, So when it came to heavyweights, I was just all Mike Tyson. Like Mike Tyson
all day
was my favorite. But if he fought a Mexican, I would probably go for the Mexican. But there was just no Mexicans. He never fought any Mexicans. He was just fighting black people and white people, and just destroy any. No, if you look at the white guys that Mike Tyson fought, oh my God, they might not be alive anymore. You know what I mean?
There weren't many. Kevin McBride was one of the last one that broke my heart because Tyson quit on the stool. But like Peter McNeely, there weren't a lot of white cats that might.
Peter McNeely. There you go. You go. So when Julio Cesar Chavez fought Oscar De La Hoya, they're both Mexican. Guess who I rooted for? They're both Mexican. It was a dilemma. Well, I went for Julio Cesar Chavez because he didn't speak any English. He was more Mexican, and he came out with Mariano. I went for Julio. I love Oscar De La Hoya, but I go in this match, I'm going for Julio Cesar Chavez. That dude can't speak any English, and your Spanish sucks like mine.
That's awesome, dude. But yeah, moving on. I mean, it's like so. You got introduced to jiu-jitsu, obviously, and you got into the game, and I found this. I mean, again, this is a testament to my man's like absolutely no quit fucking attitude. When you first got into the game, you got tapped 37 times, if I remember correctly, and you still came back.
27.
27. I'm sorry, I don't want to gas up the numbers.
I just say that. I don't even know if it was 27.
Actual number.
But I remember the number.
You were learning and didn't quit, because a lot of those cats come into these kind of trial by fires and they quit. Not only did you not quit, you kept going, and you revolutionized the game. And this is something I've really been wanting to ask you since I first met you, dude, just because I hear what you developed with 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu and your love for Bruce Lee. And you probably have heard these similarities or whatever, but you've always had just straight love for jiu-jitsu. It was never anti-jiu-jitsu when you were doing what you're doing with 10 Planet. It was more creating and manifesting a more utilitarian, useful way of jiu-jitsu for mixed martial arts. It wasn't like anti-gi and I'm anti this art. You were just trying to create a more streamlined thing for what was MMA was bringing. But you were getting all this smoke from, traditionalist Brazilian jiu-jitsus. And I paralleled that, and I likened it to when Bruce came up with the way of the intercepting fist. It was so groundbreaking, so changing and upsetting to traditional practitioners of Wing Chun or Kung Fu, et cetera, and he had threats on his life, et cetera, for shaking this up. How much do you kind of liken that or identify with that similarity? When you were changing up an art that was, because Bruce had said, man, these fixed positions, these traditional dogmatic martial arts solidified that which was once fluid. It's a very common phrase he's used. Have you kind of thought about that as far as your application and not reinventing, but your evolution of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and paralleling that and liking that to the way of the intercepting fist and the Dao Jeet Kune Do and how that changed traditional martial arts almost into what we now know today as MMA?
Well, I'm 100% influenced by Bruce Lee. And I thought everybody else was. Bruce Lee's like one of the most famous icons of all time. I thought everybody was, analyzing practicality and not accepting traditional stuff and reanalyzing and testing things. That's what Bruce Lee was all about. I thought everybody was doing what I was doing, breaking it down to what works and what doesn't. It wasn't until I was a purple belt and Joe Rogan told me. Joe Rogan was a blue belt. We met at jiu-jitsu. I started giving him privates. And he had trained with the Gracies and stuff too before. And he said, dude, you're doing different shit, dude. I'm like, what? I thought everybody was doing what I was doing, trying to figure out the best shit, and especially for MMA,
Right.
I saw the bottom game in MMA was just so underdeveloped. I'm like, man, these guys aren't doing nothing off their back. They're just, because in jiu-jitsu, you don't have to worry about strikes or headbutts, elbows. So you do all this shit, that ain't going to work when dudes are throwing elbows on your face. So to me, it was like real simple. Whoa, that's, in jiu-jitsu, there's all this bottom game, elaborate, beautiful, technical, sophisticated, complex bottom game. And then in MMA, there's nothing. I was being let down. I would I was white belt and a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, watching the UFC and telling my friends that didn't do jiu-jitsu, watch, this guy does jiu-jitsu, he's on his back, watch, he's going to arm bar him and he's going to triangle him. Watch, and nothing. And I'm like, damn, watch, he's going to do it. Damn, nothing. And then it got to a point where I was just being let down. Like, because in boxing it's all about race. In MMA it's all about style. Style is thicker than blood in MMA. I don't give a fuck about Mexican MMA fighters, really. I want to know about your style. What is your style like? How's your ground game? Doesn't matter if you're from Ghana or fucking Vietnam. I want to see guys I root for guys that have great bottom game, and that's what was missing in MMA. And I just decided, you know what? Once I started teaching jiu-jitsu, I started teaching jiu-jitsu as a job until I conquered the music business. Every job I had in jiu-jitsu, every job I had to pay the bills was just temporary until I conquered the music business. So I wanted a day job that required the least amount of energy so that I could have energy for 3 hours of band practice. I couldn't have like a man. I roofed for 1 week. I was roofing. I go, I can't practice after roofing. I want to die after 8 hours of roofing. So I go, I can't do that. I quit. It had to be. I thought the dream job was sitting at a gas station taking $10 for pump number 4, $15. That was where you could sit down and you save all your energy for practice. So once I started teaching jiu-jitsu, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Fuck, I didn't expect this, So to me, I was like, okay, until I conquer the music business, I'm gonna spend my time trying to make the bottom game, jiu-jitsu wise, in MMA as effective as possible until I got signed. So 10th Planet, even in the beginning, was just like, I thought it was just temporary. I go, eventually I'm going to get signed. I'm going to tour the world. Yeah, I'll do jiu-jitsu on the road and everything, but that's going to be my real job. But that never happened. The jiu-jitsu blew up, though, but not the music. Thank God it didn't.
Seriously.
Right now,
and I found that But I found that fascinating, Eddie, because you had that kind of like preconceived notion of, I'm just going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to get one song. I'm going to have a fucking one hit. I'm going to be fucking huge. We're all kind of whatever. It's a kind of disillusionment to a certain degree, thinking like one hit's just going to make it. But you were a part of that scene, the Roxy, the Whiskey down there back in the day, and thinking, I'm just going to be this like fucking Crew and Rad or whoever was dope at the time. I'm going to make one hit and it's going to be on and popping.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I really thought, that 1,000,000%.
And that's cool that it didn't. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When I moved to Hollywood, my uncle told me, he goes, he was trying to talk to me, and he goes, it's a 1 in a million chance that you make it in music. And I looked him in the eye and said, I'm the 1 in a million. I really believed it. Man.
Well, it's so interesting. Like, even when you out of the box of the conversation, you're like, I'm going to be either a fucking football player or a professional music artist. Like, two of the most long shot shit in the world. Yeah. But that's what's so cool. How you coming out the other end, fucking shining like new money, being the inventor of this new martial art, which just doesn't happen. But going back to when you first, and correct me if I'm wrong again, how you first met Joe. I have written down here that bad vision made you think, your eyes being fucked up, your bad vision make you think Joe was talking shit to you. You guys passed each other, and you thought he was talking shit to you, but your eyes were fucked up. And how'd that work? Is that any relevance to that story?
No, it wasn't like that. I knew when I was training at Jean-Jacques, I knew that there was a guy, an actor. It was before Fear Factor. It was right after News Radio, and it was in between News Radio and Fear Factor. There was a couple years where he didn't really have anything. He was just living off the News Radio money, which was a lot. And that's when we became friends. It was before Fear Factor. And but the way we met was I always knew that there was this actor that trained at Jean-Jacques, but he always took privates. He never took regular class. So a couple times I saw him, doing a private on the side, but I never really talked to him. And then I love stand-up comedy. That's one of my loves. I love it. I love fucking Richard Pryor, Eddie fucking Murphy, all that. All I wanted to watch was boxing, stand-up comedy, and Howard Stern. That's it. That's all I wanted to watch.
Interesting.
And I was obsessed with comedy. Obsessed. Well, I couldn't believe, like, these guys get up on stage and they say things that everyone's thinking, and like how do they do it? How do they come up with this? How do they get up on stage and make everybody laugh? Oh my God. It's like, a good comedian that goes on for an hour. That's the best form of entertainment for me. I'm like, I would rather see a good comedian than a movie.
Serious.
This guy's on stage talking shit and I'm fucking busting up. So I would go to the Comedy Store all the time. And back then I was a DJ at a strip club for 10 years. And I would, be dating the strippers and I'd take them Sunday night to the Comedy Store, have a couple drinks, have a couple laughs, on the date. It's always a good date when there's good comedians. And it was a Sunday night, and I took this one girl, and we're hanging out. And then they bring on Joe Rogan on. I'm like, that's that motherfucker that trains at my gym.
Yeah.
That's that guy. I didn't know he did stand-up. I had no idea he did stand-up. And then when he was done, he got off stage. And when he was walking off stage, I came up to him and I intercepted him. I was like, yo, you training Jean-Jacques, right? He goes, yeah, I train Jean-Jacques. And then we sat down and we just started talking. And then, we became friends.
That's wild, man. The story has to start somewhere. But again, we have a lot of similar, whatever the word is, similarities in our personality and our story. I was a huge boxing fan, man. Freaking Tuesday Night Fight, Sean O'Grady, what's his name?
Yeah,
Al Albert, all that shit. I used to tape it constantly. So you had said that you would tape constantly stand-up comedy and boxing. But something about, and I've always found this again. So long story short, I did stand-up for the first time when I was like 17 or 18 to be on the Jay Leno show. Absolutely fucking bombed. Had no idea what I was doing, but absolutely bombed, of course. And I promised myself I was going to do it again at some point in time in my life. And you guys allowed me. That was the first time I had gotten back up there. So I fulfilled that promise. I'm a funny guy, but it's something about being like formulaically funny, like you said, like doing an hour and the bits and the setups. I don't know what that is, but something you had said I found interesting. As much as you had studied it, when you first start chiefing, start smoking weed, you apparently realize how there's like this ringing bell moment, this boom shanka moment where you realize how they structured stand up from burning. Talk to me about that, because I've always found that fascinating too. The structure of comedy. You can be fucking off the cuff funny, but to take that shit on the road and do it fucking, you go on tour with the same anyway, to make it funny and fresh each time. How did that, you smoking?
Yeah, I was always against weed my whole life.
Yeah.
Like once a year, I smoke weed, and I'd be paranoid as fuck, and I hated it. Couldn't stand it. I'm like, how could anybody smoke? I would always get talked into it and have like these fucking panic attacks. And I got fucking mad stories about the panic attacks. And I never was against. I was always not only against weed, but I was like an activist against it. Like I thought it destroyed your brain, because every time I got talked into it, I would freak out. I'm like, dude, how could you even drive on this shit? I couldn't understand it. But when I was 28, I was dating this one stripper. She pulled out a joint. I didn't want to smoke it, and I smoked. She made me smoke it, and we had a great time. Like mental patients. And the next morning, I'm like, what the fuck? How did I have such an amazing time smoking weed? And then we did it the next night, and again. And then I realized, shit, weed is just whatever. Weed is whatever you want it to be. It like the physical thing is it makes blood rush to your brain. So if blood is rushing to your brain, that means your brain is on extra. So whatever you're feeling it more. So if you feel like shit, you feel more like shit. If you have anxiety, you have more anxiety. But if you're feeling good, you feel better. You feel amazing. And if you're in love, you're even more in love. So I realized that, damn, weed is not bad or good. It's both. It's whatever you want it to be. Some people smoke weed. Some people tell me I smoke weed when I'm stressed out. I'm like, yo, that's crazy, because if I'm stressed out, I won't smoke weed. So it's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever your brain says it is. That's what it is. So once I realized that, and I started smoking weed all the time, and then the comedy made sense. I'm like, oh, I see the formula that they're doing. I see how they're setting it up. And then I just started writing comedy. I was just writing shit, a lot of horrible stuff, obviously. But that's what got me thinking, like, damn, I could do comedy. Holy shit, I get it now. It was the weed that made me realize it. And it changed my music. As soon as I started smoking weed, I went from heavy metal rap to ballads. I never played acoustic guitar. And now all of a sudden, I don't even want to play electric. I just want to play acoustic every song. I would write ballad after. I started writing with female singers, just ballad after ballad after ballad. As a matter of fact, the first girl I started writing, she goes, "Can we write like a rock song now? Enough ballads." I'm like, no. I was like having like I was like purged, you know, like all the emotion that I kept hidden inside was all just being fucking thrown up. You know what I mean? It was ballad after ballad. I was just obsessed with The Cure and Depeche Mode and Nine Inch Nails, just ballad, just sad shit.
Speaking of ballads, I mean, I was a full grown-ass man, and my boy Hoop turned me on to it. He was a big Kiss fan, going back to Kiss for a second. Beth. I hadn't heard Beth ever, and I heard it, I was like, oh, my God, these guys did this? Holy shit.
Yeah. They had a ballad, and that was their biggest song, even to this day.
Yeah, it's a jam.
The Kiss's ballad was their biggest song ever.
All right, man. I've kept you quite a minute, but I got a couple more questions before I let you slide, man. This is something Joey Diaz brought up when I fucked with Joey Diaz. He said, you have an affinity for this particular NFL team. Why? Edgar Bravo. Why the Cleveland Browns?
Because my brother was 4 years older than me, and his job was to humiliate me in front of my friends. And I love him to death. I love him to death, and I understand that we were just kids, and I was insecure. He was insecure. I love him to death. But back then, it was all about, just how can he humiliate me? And he had a big baseball card collection, and I had nothing, and I was kind of jealous of it. And he gave me a Cleveland Indians card. It was Dennis Eckersley's rookie card. Dennis Eckersley's a Hall of Famer, I think. He won a fucking World Series with the Oakland A's, but he was a rookie on the Cleveland Indians, and back then the Cleveland Indians were the biggest. They were the Vanilla Ice of baseball. And, I mean, there was even a movie. Major League was about.
Of course, I love that movie.
Yeah, so he gave me that card to humiliate me, and from that point on, I was 8 years old. From that point on, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make him regret giving me this fucking card. So I just became an Indians fan, Cavaliers fan, fucking Browns fan.
Anything Cleveland.
Anything Cleveland. I used to follow the Cavs like a motherfucker. Like back in the day where they almost made it to the finals when Michael Jordan hit that jump shot and just killed the dream. The Cavaliers almost made it to the finals a couple times, just like the Browns. They almost made it to the Super Bowl a couple times, but they had the fumble, they had the drive, heartbreak city.
Right.
So once I started smoking weed, though, I stopped paying attention to basketball and I stopped paying attention to baseball. I'm like, what am I doing? Spending all this fucking time. But I didn't give up football. I did give up football once I started teaching a lot of jiu-jitsu and the jiu-jitsu blew up because I started missing games on Sunday because of seminars. But they were so bad. The Browns were so bad, like in the mid-2000s, in the 2010s, that I didn't even give a fuck. I'm like, thank God,
That's me. That's me as a Lions fan the last 20 years. But they're actually finding and turning it around. But
totally. But when they got Baker Mayfield, that's what brought me back into the Browns. Baker Mayfield brought me back, and then all of a sudden, now I'm like, dude, I listen to Browns podcasts every day in the off season.
Straight up,
because I know everything about the practice squad. Dog.
Damn,
I could tell you about all their backups, dude.
That's what's up.
They just first preseason game Saturday, and it was horrible, but there was some bright spots.
It's preseason. You can't even count it. It's preseason. Don't even count it. They're getting all their ducks in a row.
No, of course you can't. And nobody does count it. Everyone's just like, let's see how the backups play. No one's talking about the loss or the win. Like all the podcasts that I listen to, no one's going, oh, my God, they lost. They suck.
Yeah.
Deshaun didn't even play. Like none of the starters played. Njoku didn't play.
It's the white belt squad. Yeah, it's starting out.
Yes, and we get to see a game. It doesn't matter what the score is. We get to see these backups and who's going to make the team and who's not. But it was a bad game regardless. But football's back, and I'm fucking stoked.
Browns for life, baby. Browns for life. All right. Another thing, man, as me as a parent, I just celebrated my daughter's birthday the other day. I have 2 kids. I mean, I just love my babies, man. They're absolutely my world. And I know you love your kids too, like Midnight loves the moon. Just, I mean, there's a lot to be said, but how has being a parent helped you evolve and change your life?
When you have a kid, you go from you being the number one guy in your life. I mean, even like if most people, like if it was, between you or anybody else, even family members, you would choose most people would choose themselves if someone had to die. But as soon as my son was born, right away he's number one. He don't even know me. He doesn't even know what's going on. He's a newborn. But without a doubt, if it was between me or him dying, it would be me. There's no way that I would choose. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, there's someone that doesn't even know you that means more to you than yourself. You know what I mean?
No,
so
absolutely.
That changes the way you live. It doesn't. You don't change automatically. Like all of a sudden you're just this fucking great person. I'm not saying that, but
it doesn't happen for everybody. Because I see we see some selfish ass parents that hasn't done anything to. But I know I feel what you're saying. For those who it does change, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't just like one day you just change and you're this great person. That's not how it works. It just the one thing that changes on day one, the day he's born, is I will die before he dies. I will kill for that motherfucker. I will die for that motherfucker. And he don't even know. All he knows is where the nipple's at, and he's gonna suck on the nipple. That's all he knows.
Right.
So that's what changed. And then little by little, your life just evolves into family first, unless you're a shitbag parent, or maybe your spouse is a shitbag and you just couldn't take it and you just can't live like that. I understand that too. People get divorced.
It happens.
People pick the wrong motherfuckers.
Right.
But I try to do the best I can. I make mistakes, I fuck up, but I definitely have my family first. My son is number one. I work for him. Everything I do is for him. And
that's awesome.
I don't ever want that to change.
Well, and something that a story you had told, dude, and it's a metaphor like you said in this, when you said it, it can be extrapolated to everything in life. Tell me about that shoe tying incident with your son and his frustration with tying his shoe, and you show just all of that story it blew me away, bro.
Most people don't know. They don't realize that they could do anything they want. They just got to practice and put the work in, because they have a job that they go to, they drive to. It takes half an hour, 45 minutes to get to their job. They're in their cubicle or whatever job they're doing, and they don't think they could do anything else. This is what they do, and everything else seems impossible. But they don't realize that even in their cubicle job, they're like a master. They know where the stapler's at. They're not even thinking. Just like when you're in your car. When you're in a car and you lock the door and you put the keys in. When you're in a rental car, it takes a while. You're like, where's the key? Where's the lock? Where's the window thing? But after a while, when you're in your car for a couple of years, you're a fucking master of that car. You know everything. You don't even think. You're like, so you're. It's like magical. You just like, you get in, lock the door, everything's like really quick. And everything's like that. Just like, and the shoe tying example is when you're first tying your shoes, man, you're making commands. Every movement is a command, and you're trying to, loop it around here and then go through there, and then you loop that, and then you go through there, and then you pull that. In the beginning, tying your shoes is, you have to really pay attention. But after a while, you tie your shoes, and you don't even think about it. Just and you're doing this magical thing. And I try to explain to my son that life is like that. Anything you put time into and you put the reps in, it's all about reps and numbers. You put enough reps and numbers into anything, and then it's magical. Just like tying your shoes is magical. So at first when he started tying his shoes, I would tell him, remember, look what you're doing here. You're working. I go, eventually you're going to be able to do that without even looking, and you don't even know what you're doing. You wouldn't even be able to tell a person how to tie it. I wouldn't. Like over the phone, I couldn't explain how to tie a shoe over the phone. I'd go, wait a minute, I have to do it. And then as I do it, I'd have to explain it, because when I do it, it's automatic. It's magic. It's just like playing piano or playing guitar. Like Eddie Van Halen, he's shredding. After a while, he's just shredding.
Second nature.
Magic. Yeah, it's in your DNA. And life is like that. Anything you want to master, you can master. You're not going to be it's not like saying, if you want to be in the NBA, you could be in the NBA. No, you're not going to be in the NBA, but you could get really good at basketball if you practice. You might have an NBA, but you could get really, really fucking good if you put a lot of time into it. It's just like anything.
Getting the reps in. Getting the reps in.
The reps and the numbers. That's all it is. That's what life is. Your body is magic. You just got to tell it what to do 1,000 times, 10,000 times, and once your body realizes, okay, I got this. This is what this guy wants to do. You don't have to think about it no more. Think about some other shit. We got this unlocked.
And we all know it, right? We didn't come out of the womb or as a 1 or 2 year old getting up, running, and sprinting. We had to crawl and then fall and all that kind of.
People just a lot of people don't think they could do anything they want. They just don't. They're like, I can't do that. You can do anything. You just gotta practice and put the work in. You can do anything. You can be really
unchain your mind, as C.T. Fletcher said. All right, Edgar. I'm sorry. Coming up, dude. This is really cool, man. When I saw this, you got a jiu-jitsu overdose coming up in Cancun, Mexico, December 11th through the 16th. Talk to me about that, and how can we get involved with any of that?
Yeah, I decided. I've been promoting. I'm producing jiu-jitsu shows. One is EBI, one is Combat Jiu-Jitsu World, another one is Medusa, which is an all-female jiu-jitsu event, and then we have Combat Jiu-Jitsu Mexico, it's just Mexicans. And I've been doing these shows for 10 years, and now I decided to do them all, instead of doing one every 3 months, do them all back-to-back. Thursday night, Combat Jiu-Jitsu Mexico, Friday night, Medusa, that's the girl one. Saturday, EBI, and then Sunday, all of them, 4 nights straight. We're going to do it in Cancun in December 11th through December 15th. And go to Jiu-Jitsu. We call it Jiu-Jitsu Overdose because we're going to have seminars during the day. Jean-Jacques Machado, I'm going to do a seminar. Gio Martinez, Boogie Martinez. There's going to be a seminar every day. It's Planet Hollywood, 5 nights, all inclusive. That means free food, free drinks, 5 nights of just fucking jiu-jitsu overdose. That's what it's called.
Where can we
go to jujitsuoverdose.com if you want to witness this live. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass as well. You can just watch it from the comfort of your own home. An awesome jiu-jitsu show every night, December 11th through December 15th. Or you can witness it live. It's 2K. That all the shows are included, all the seminars included, and we're going to have stand-up comedy too. Sam Tripoli's going to be out there at night.
Oh, shit.
So a seminar during the day, jiu-jitsu show in the evening, and then at night we're gonna have Sam Tripoli, Chingo Bling. I'm gonna do some stand-up, and I'm gonna ask Ari, the guy, Joe's new guy. He's in the Joe Rogan Rat Pack. He's awesome.
Ari Shaffir.
No. His name is Ari Matt.
Oh, okay.
A guy from Estonia, brand new guy. Ari Shaffir would be too expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to bring out comedians that do jiu-jitsu. So it's all
copy that.
So this guy from Estonia, he's awesome. He opened up for Joe at that one Burn the Boat show on Netflix. He opened it up. Fuck, this guy's amazing. And he did MMA. He does jiu-jitsu. So, that's what we're trying to do. Jiu-Jitsu Overdose, the ultimate jiu-jitsu experience. Go to jujitsuoverdose.com. Reserve your room. 2K, you get everything.
Looks like I found my reason to make my first trip to Cancun, Mexico, man. Wow. Eddie Bravo,
man. It's
man.
going to be at Planet Hollywood. It's all at Planet Hollywood, which is the best resort in Cancun. It's amazing. All food, drink, all alcohol, everything's included. 2K, all the shows, all the seminars, all the stand-up comedy. It's
an overdose. It's an overdose, ladies and gentlemen. That's why it's Jiu-Jitsu Overdose, as well as plenty of good times with stand-up comedy, like you said, man. Edgar, man, I can't thank you enough, bro. I really, you have no idea how much love and respect I have for you for everything you've done, and to be able to have the chance to be able to conversate you and get to know you the little bit that I have, I am so very thankful, man. Continued success for all you're doing and what you do, my friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, dude. Let's talk again soon. And hopefully I'll see you back next time in St. You're still in St. Louis?
I'm still in the Lou, bro. You're going to see me in Mexico, bro. I'm coming down for this.
Come down, dude. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm coming down for this.
The whole reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to just make it's Jiu-Jitsu Overdose, the ultimate Jiu-Jitsu experience. That's all it is. I just want to be the craziest vacation ever, the most entertaining vacation for Jiu-Jitsu heads. If you're not into Jiu-Jitsu, you're not going to be into it, but you know what I mean? But this is for people that are into martial arts.
Without a doubt. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your time. This has been Eddie Bravo, ladies and gentlemen. I will provide all of the links to what we've been talking about in the description. Peace and so much love. You guys know what it is. There will always be more.
Thank you, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
Later, man.